Hello, 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 hello. All right. I'm going to be sharing a series of wealth talks. And what I want to do in this session is give you an overview of the 6 major topics that we're going to be covering under wealth talks. So I'm going to be reading some stuff and hitting it just a little bit, and then we'll go back and unpack it in the course of the series. So in this series of talks, I want to talk to you about wealth building. In this first talk, I want to give a general overview, and then I want to come back and elaborate on the various pieces of the overview in my future talks. So the first thing we want to talk about is biblical principles. And so the first area of discussion is a quick Bible study that unpacks the following ideals: the love of money and being a wealthy Christian are 2 different ideals. So we're going to be looking at some scriptures like 1 Timothy 6:10 talks about the love of money is the root of all evil. And then we're going to be looking at passages in 1 Timothy chapter 6 as well as Deuteronomy chapter 8 that talks about the people of God being wealthy. So we want to talk about those 2 different ideals. Second thing under the Bible study is striving to be a Christian who blesses others is godly. So we're going to look at several passages of scripture that talk about how people of God having wealth so they can bless others is in God's will. And then the third principle we're going to look at is wealth building calls for our being wise stewards of what God has placed in our trust. So how do we become wealthy Christians? Do we just pray for God to send wealth down? I think exercising wise stewardship is a more predictable path. And so we're going to look at some of those principles under our first discussion, biblical principles. The second area that we're going to talk about in the series is the what and why of wealth building. So we're going to discuss my understanding of what wealth is and how much wealth do we need. We will also talk about why do we want to have wealth. The third area of discussion is earn high. We're going to discuss Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant and some benefits of developing a home-based business as a plan B comes. Then we're going to, in our fourth discussion, talking about spend low, we're going to discuss how taxes, debt, big business, and inflation are creating roadblocks to our wealth building. And we're going to talk about the benefits of the MWR services, how we help people with taxes, bills, debt, credit repair. We're going to talk about the ideal of needs versus wants and how emotional spending can get us messed up. And then we'll also talk about budgeting. All of that's under spend low. Number 5, we're going to talk about invest, and we're going to discuss having an emergency fund and a private reserve account, as well as investing in real estate, land, index funds. And then to round it out, number 6 is pass wealth on. We're going to talk about how we have dying bodies that we're going to leave here. And we're going to discuss the power of a will, a trust, and types of ownership, how to hold our the method of ownership for our various assets so that when we're gone, those assets can pass on to who we want them to pass on to without getting caught up in probate court. All right, so we have a rather ambitious agenda. Aren't you glad that we're breaking it up in pieces instead of trying to present it all to you at one time? All right, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be great. Have a great day.